everyone, Sarah here. Rewind Justice brings you revenge stories that will blow your mind. If you're ready, hit subscribe and let's go.
The champagne tower at my sister's promotion party had 17 levels. Vanessa made sure everyone knew because she'd announced it 3 times in the first 20 minutes. 17 levels, she said again, gesturing with her 4th glass. One for each year I've dedicated to building Anderson Consulting into what it is today. Our father raised his glass. To Vanessa, managing partner at 39. Brilliant. The conference room at the downtown Marriott erupted in applause. Partners, associates, clients, family, everyone celebrating my sister's meteoric rise to the top of her consulting firm. Everyone except me, apparently. Rachel. Vanessa's voice cut through the celebration as she approached my table near the back. So glad you could make it. I know you had to leave work early. It's 7 p.m., Vanessa. Right, but some of us don't punch a clock. She smiled that razor-sharp smile I'd known my whole life. How's the accounting firm? Still doing tax returns? Financial analysis, actually. Of course. She waved her hand dismissively. Number stuff. Very practical. My mother appeared at her elbow, beaming. Vanessa, the mayor's here. He wants to congratulate you personally. Duty calls. Vanessa squeezed my shoulder with just enough pressure to hurt. Try the shrimp. It's imported. I watched her glide away, holding court like royalty at her own coronation. My cousin Lauren slid into the seat beside me. She's in rare form tonight. It's her party. Still, you'd think she could dial down the condescension for one evening. Lauren grabbed a miniature quiche from my plate. How much longer are you staying? I'm not sure. Well, brace yourself. I heard her planning the toast. You're mentioned. My stomach dropped. What? Something about family and different paths and how success comes in many forms. Lauren grimaced. It's going to be patronizing as hell. He was right. 20 minutes later, Vanessa clinked her glass and the room fell silent. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, she began, her voice carrying the same authority she used in boardrooms. Anderson Consulting is my life's work. And reaching managing partner is a dream I've had since my first day as a junior analyst. Applause. She waited for it to die down. I've been thinking a lot about what success means. For some of us, it's building something from nothing. Taking risks. Leading teams. Making decisions that affect hundreds of employees and millions in revenue. She paused, scanning the room until her eyes found me. For others, success looks different. Smaller. More personal. I felt every eye in the room turn toward me. My sister Rachel, for example. She works in accounting. Very stable. Very safe. No risk, no pressure, no ambition to speak of. Vanessa smiled warmly like she was paying me a compliment. And that's okay. Not everyone is cut out for leadership. Some people are perfectly happy being workers instead of builders. My father nodded along, proud as ever of his brilliant daughter's magnanimity. Rachel's never understood business, really. She's financially clueless, always has been. Couldn't explain a P&L statement if her life depended on it. Laughter rippled through the crowd. But she's my sister and I love her anyway. Even if she'll never understand what nights like this feel like. She raised her glass. To family. In all its forms. The room erupted in cheers. I sat perfectly still, my face burning, while Vanessa accepted congratulations and my parents beamed with pride at their accomplished daughter's graciousness toward her simple sister. Lauren leaned over. I'm so sorry. It's fine. It's not fine. That was cruel. I pulled out my phone. Excuse me for a minute. I walked to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall and opened my email. To david.martinez@silverlacelaw.com. Subject. Urgent, partnership dissolution. David. Effective immediately, initiate dissolution proceedings for my silent partnership in Anderson Consulting LLC. Per Section 12.4 of our partnership agreement, I'm exercising my right to liquidate my 40% equity stake with standard 30-day notice. Total investment value, $8.9 million based on most recent valuation. Prepare all documentation for board notification first thing Monday morning. Call me tomorrow to discuss specifics. I read it twice, my thumb hovering over the send button. 8 years. I'd been a silent partner for 8 years and Vanessa had no idea. When she'd started Anderson Consulting 11 years ago with two other founders, she'd needed capital. Real capital, not small business loans. She'd pitched to dozens of investors, been rejected by all of them. Too risky. Too competitive. Too young. Too female. I'd been working as a senior financial analyst at a private equity firm, quietly building expertise and connections while Vanessa treated me like an amateur who barely understood spreadsheets. When her other founders got cold feet and pulled out, leaving her with a failed business plan and $127,000 in personal debt, she'd been desperate. I'd approached her through intermediaries. A private investor group interested in her vision. Professional distance. Clean paperwork. Anonymous backing. She jumped at it. $2.3 million in exchange for 40% equity. Structured as a silent partnership. No decision-making authority, no public presence, just capital and quarterly distributions. Over 8 years, Anderson Consulting had grown from a 3-person startup to a 140-person firm with $52 million in annual revenue. My 40% stake, originally worth $2.3 million, was now valued at $8.9 million according to their last financial audit. Vanessa thought she'd built it alone. Brilliant, fearless, self-made Vanessa. She had no idea her financially clueless sister owned almost half her company. I pressed send. The email whooshed into the void. Done. I washed my hands, fixed my makeup, and returned to the party. Vanessa was surrounded by admirers, telling the story of how she'd bootstrapped Anderson Consulting from nothing. Just me, my vision, and enough determination to will it into existence. I grabbed my coat. Leaving already? My mother looked disappointed. Vanessa wanted to introduce you to some people. Work tomorrow, I said. Early morning. Of course. Your job. She said it the way someone might say, your podiatrist appointment. Important to you, boring to everyone else. I drove home through downtown traffic, my phone buzzing periodically with texts from Lauren asking if I was okay. I wasn't sure yet. Monday morning arrived with Seattle's typical drizzle. I was reviewing quarterly reports when my phone rang. David Martinez, my attorney. The dissolution notice went out at 8 a.m. sharp, he said. Anderson Consulting's registered agent received it 17 minutes ago. How long until Vanessa knows? Their CFO will see it first, Marcus Webb. Smart guy, former Big Four. He'll understand immediately what this means. David paused. Rachel, are you absolutely certain? Because once they process this, there's no going back without serious negotiation. I'm certain. The partnership agreement is airtight. You have every legal right to dissolve and liquidate. But the timing. She made her choices, David. I'm making mine. Understood. I'll keep you posted. He hung up. I tried to focus on work. Failed spectacularly. By 10 a.m., I'd read the same analyst report 4 times without retaining a single word. My phone rang. Unknown number. Rachel Anderson? A male voice tight with stress. Speaking. This is Marcus Webb, CFO of Anderson Consulting. We need to talk. Immediately. About. Don't play games. You know exactly what this is about. I heard papers rustling. A dissolution notice from Silver Lake Law on behalf of R. Anderson Holdings claiming 40% equity in our firm. This is either a massive error or... It's not an error. Silence. Then, you're the silent partner? I am. Jesus Christ. More paper rustling. I need you to come in. Today. Right now. Vanessa needs to. Vanessa made it very clear on Saturday night what she thinks of my financial acumen, I said calmly. I'm simply reallocating my assets to opportunities where my contributions are valued. Rachel, listen to me. If you liquidate a 40% stake, the company's capital structure collapses. We have 3 major contracts contingent on financial stability. 2 potential acquisitions in negotiation. This will. I'm aware of the implications. I review every quarterly report. Then you know this destroys everything we've built. Everything Vanessa built, I corrected. According to her toast anyway. Alone. From nothing. Just her vision and determination. Understanding dawned. The promotion party. She said something, didn't she? She said many things. All very enlightening. Look, I don't know what happened between you two, But this is bigger than a family argument. We have 140 employees. Real people with mortgages and families. That hit harder than I expected. I'm not trying to hurt anyone except Vanessa. You can't separate the two. She's managing partner. When she falls, everyone falls. His voice dropped. Please. Come in. Let's talk this through before you make a decision that affects hundreds of lives. I closed my eyes. I'll be there at 2. Thank you. I hung up and stared at my computer screen, Marcus Webb's words echoing in my head. 140 employees. Real people. What had I done? Anderson Consulting's offices occupied 3 floors of a gleaming tower in downtown Seattle. I'd never been inside. Anonymous investors don't exactly stop by for tours. The receptionist looked confused when I gave my name. Do you have an appointment? With Marcus Webb. One moment. She made a hushed call, then her eyes widened. Mr. Webb will be right down. Please have a seat. I sat in the modern lobby, surrounded by awards and press clippings celebrating Anderson Consulting's meteoric rise. 40 under 40. Fastest growing consulting firm. Seattle's top woman-led business. All featuring photos of Vanessa looking confident and powerful. Rachel. Marcus Webb appeared, early 50s, graying at the temples, expensive suit rumpled from stress. Thank you for coming. Conference room 3 is private. He led me past open-plan workspaces where young consultants typed frantically, through glass-walled offices where senior partners conducted calls, up to a small conference room with a view of Elliott Bay. Coffee? Water? I'm fine. He sat across from me, spreading documents on the table. I've been CFO here for 5 years. In that time, I've reviewed every financial document, every investor agreement, every partnership structure. He tapped one document. This silent partnership with R. Anderson Holdings always struck me as odd. Too generous terms. Too hands-off. Too perfectly timed to save the company when the original founders bailed. Vanessa never questioned it. She was too relieved. $2 million in capital when she was drowning in debt? She didn't ask questions. He studied me. But I did. Small clues over the years. Same last name as the managing partner. Payment structures that suggested someone who understood our business intimately. Quarterly reports reviewed with notes that showed real insight. But you never said anything. Not my place. Silent partners have their reasons. He leaned back. But now you're not silent anymore. So I'll ask, what do you want? I want out. Why now? Why after 8 years of patient investment? I told him about the promotion party. About Vanessa's toast. About a lifetime of being dismissed as the dumb sister who didn't understand business. Marcus listened without interrupting, his expression carefully neutral. She has no idea, does she? He said finally. No idea that her financially clueless sister saved her company and has been quietly bankrolling her success for nearly a decade. None. And you want her to know? I want her to feel what I felt every time she's dismissed me. Diminished me. Made me feel worthless in front of everyone I care about. Understandable. He pulled out a different document. But before you proceed, you need to see this. It was a financial projection. Detailed, color-coded, absolutely devastating. If you liquidate your 40% stake with standard terms, we have 30 days to pay you $8.9 million, Marcus explained. We don't have $8.9 million in liquid assets. We have contracts, receivables, office equipment, reputation. But not cash. So you'll have to borrow. At terms that will cripple us. Or we'll have to sell off pieces of the company. Fire people. Cancel contracts. Essentially destroy what we've built to pay you out. He pulled out another document. These are our current projects. The hospital system modernization. That's 47 jobs. The tech company merger advisory. 23 jobs. The municipal efficiency study. 31 jobs. He looked at me. If we implode trying to pay you out, those projects stop. Those people lose their jobs. Vanessa should have thought of that before. Before she was cruel to you at a party? Marcus's voice sharpened. Yes, she should have. He was wrong. Completely, inexcusably wrong. But are 140 innocent people supposed to pay for her being a bad sister? I had no answer. Here's what I propose, Marcus continued. You and I restructure this partnership. Convert your equity to non-voting shares with guaranteed distributions. You get your money over time, actually more than $8.9 million because the company keeps growing. We maintain stability. Everyone keeps their jobs. And Vanessa still never knows. Oh, she'll know. He smiled grimly. I'm calling an emergency partners meeting for tomorrow morning. All equity holders must attend. That's in our charter. Your partnership agreement makes you an equity holder. Understanding dawned. You're inviting me to the meeting. I'm requiring it. As CFO, I have that authority when financial crisis threatens the firm. He slid a document across the table. Sign this acknowledgement of partnership status, and you'll receive an official meeting invitation within the hour. And Vanessa? Will see your name on the attendance list and lose her mind. But she can't exclude you, not without violating our own charter. He leaned forward. You want her to know? You want her to feel the weight of her ignorance? Tomorrow at 9 a.m., you walk into that conference room as what you've always been, a founding partner of Anderson Consulting. I stared at the acknowledgement form, my hand trembling slightly. This was better than liquidation. Better than destruction. This was showing up, being seen, and watching Vanessa reckon with the truth. I signed. Tuesday morning, I dressed in my best suit. Navy Armani silk blouse, heels that cost 3 months of my supposed simple accounting job salary. I arrived at Anderson Consulting at 8:45 a.m. The receptionist did a double take. Ms. Anderson? Do you have an emergency partners meeting? Conference room A. I showed her my phone with the official invitation. Oh. Of course. Top floor, elevators to your right. If you liquidate your 40% stake with standard terms, we have 30 days to pay you $8.9 million, Marcus explained. We don't have $8.9 million in liquid assets. We have contracts, receivables, office equipment, reputation. But not cash. So you'll have to borrow. At terms that will cripple us. Or we'll have to sell off pieces of the company. Fire people. Cancel contracts. Essentially destroy what we've built to pay you out. He pulled out another document. These are our current projects. The hospital system modernization. That's 47 jobs. The tech company merger advisory. 23 jobs. The municipal efficiency study. 31 jobs. He looked at me. If we implode trying to pay you out, those projects stop. Those people lose their jobs. Vanessa should have thought of that before. Before she was cruel to you at a party? Marcus's voice sharpened. Yes, she should have. He was wrong. Completely, inexcusably wrong. But are 140 innocent people supposed to pay for her being a bad sister? I had no answer. Here's what I propose, Marcus continued. You and I restructure this partnership. Convert your equity to non-voting shares with guaranteed distributions. You get your money over time, actually more than $8.9 million because the company keeps growing. We maintain stability. Everyone keeps their jobs. And Vanessa still never knows. Oh, she'll know. He smiled grimly. I'm calling an emergency partners meeting for tomorrow morning. All equity holders must attend. That's in our charter. Your partnership agreement makes you an equity holder. Understanding dawned. You're inviting me to the meeting. I'm requiring it. As CFO, I have that authority when financial crisis threatens the firm. He slid a document across the table. Sign this acknowledgement of partnership status, and you'll receive an official meeting invitation within the hour. And Vanessa? Will see your name on the attendance list and lose her mind. But she can't exclude you, not without violating our own charter. He leaned forward. You want her to know? You want her to feel the weight of her ignorance? Tomorrow at 9 a.m., you walk into that conference room as what you've always been, a founding partner of Anderson Consulting. I stared at the acknowledgement form, my hand trembling slightly. This was better than liquidation. Better than destruction. This was showing up, being seen, and watching Vanessa reckon with the truth. I signed. Tuesday morning, I dressed in my best suit. Navy Armani silk blouse, heels that cost 3 months of my supposed simple accounting job salary. I arrived at Anderson Consulting at 8:45 a.m. The receptionist did a double take. Ms. Anderson? Do you have an emergency partners meeting? Conference room A. I showed her my phone with the official invitation. Oh. Of course. Top floor, elevators to your right. I rode up with 3 other partners I didn't recognize, all looking stressed and confused. None of them questioned my presence. Conference room A was massive. Sleek table, ergonomic chairs, video screens on every wall. Partners filed in, whispering among themselves. What's this about? Marcus said, financial emergency. Did we lose a client? I took a seat at the far end of the table, opened my portfolio and waited. Vanessa swept in at 8:58, Marcus at her heels. She was mid-sentence. Better be actually important because I had to cancel breakfast with the Redmond Tech CFO Anne. She saw me. Her entire body froze. What are you doing here? Attending the emergency partners meeting, I said calmly. This is for equity partners only. You need to. She is an equity partner, Marcus interrupted. Has been for 8 years. The room went silent. Vanessa stared at him. What are you talking about? Please, everyone sit. Marcus moved to the head of the table, pulling up a presentation on the main screen. We have a significant development that requires full partnership transparency. Vanessa remained standing. Marcus, I don't know what kind of joke. It's not a joke. Sit down, Vanessa. Something in his voice made her comply. Marcus clicked to the first slide. Anderson Consulting Partnership Structure. As you all know, Anderson Consulting was founded 11 years ago with initial capital investment from several sources. What most of you don't know is the identity of our largest investor, the silent partner who holds 40% equity. He clicked to the next slide. My name appeared in 72-point font. Rachel Anderson or Anderson Holdings LC. Vanessa's face went white. No, that's not. $2.3 million initial investment in 2017, Marcus continued. Structured as a silent partnership per Section 12 of our original operating agreement. Current value, $8.9 million based on our most recent valuation. He pulled up documents, bank transfers, quarterly distribution records. 8 years of proof that I'd been there all along. This is impossible, Vanessa whispered. Rachel doesn't have that kind of money. She works in basic accounting. She doesn't understand. I'm a senior financial analyst at Cascade Private Equity, I said quietly. Have been for 12 years. My portfolio focuses on early-stage professional services firms. I've managed over $340 million in investments. Vanessa stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. When your original partners backed out, I continued, you were desperate. You'd pitched to 43 investors and been rejected by all of them. You were 3 weeks from bankruptcy. How do you know that? Because I read every one of your rejection letters. Every financial statement. Every projection. I pulled out a folder. You were brilliant, Vanessa. Truly brilliant. You just needed capital and someone who believed in you. So you've been my investor this whole time? Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have accepted the money if you knew it was from your financially clueless sister? She opened her mouth. Closed it. No answer. Marcus cleared his throat. Friday afternoon, Ms. Anderson served notice of her intention to dissolve the partnership and liquidate her equity position. The other partners erupted in overlapping questions. Marcus raised his hand for silence. If she proceeds, we have 30 days to pay her $8.9 million in cash. We don't have it. We'd have to borrow at devastating rates, sell assets, or potentially dissolve the firm entirely. Vanessa's hands were shaking. You're destroying my company? Your company? The words came out sharper than I intended. 40% belongs to me. Has belonged to me since the beginning. You've been building our company, Vanessa. You just never bothered to ask who your partners were. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Just like you didn't want to know about my actual job, my actual expertise, my actual accomplishments. Easier to believe I was simple, safe, small. I stood. At your promotion party, you told 150 people I was financially clueless. That I couldn't explain a P&L statement if my life depended on it. Rachel, I'm sorry, I was drunk and showing off. You weren't drunk. You were cruel. I pulled out the dissolution notice. This document gives me every legal right to walk away with my investment. And I'm seriously considering it. The room was dead silent. Marcus spoke carefully. However, Ms. Anderson has indicated she might be open to alternative structures that preserve the firm while acknowledging her role. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. She'd gone from shocked to terrified to something that looked almost like shame. Tell me why I shouldn't liquidate, I said. Convince me this company deserves to survive. Vanessa's voice was barely audible. Because 140 people depend on it. Because we do good work. Because. She swallowed hard. Because I was wrong about you. So wrong I can't even comprehend it. That's not enough. What do you want? Her eyes were pleading. An apology? Public acknowledgement? A bigger equity stake? Tell me how to fix this. I want you to see me, Vanessa. Really see me. Not as your screw-up little sister but as an equal. As someone who's been supporting you, investing in you, believing in you when no one else would. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I see you. God, Rachel, I see you. Marcus pulled up another document. I've prepared a restructuring proposal. Ms. Anderson's equity converts to non-voting senior shares with guaranteed quarterly distributions. She receives board observer status and full financial transparency. The firm remains stable. Everyone keeps their jobs. And? Vanessa asked. And she's publicly acknowledged as a founding partner. Her name goes on the letterhead, the website, the awards. No more silent partnership. I watched Vanessa process this. Watched her calculate what it meant to share credit, to admit she hadn't done it alone. Yes, she said finally. Whatever Rachel wants. I agree to all of it. You haven't seen the terms yet, Marcus pointed out. I don't care. She saved my company when I was drowning. She's watched me take credit for 8 years. Whatever she wants, she's earned it. I looked at the other partners. They were nodding, clearly relieved that dissolution was off the table. There's one more thing, I said. A full partnership meeting. Tomorrow. Where you tell everyone the real story of how Anderson Consulting was funded. No spin, no saving face. Just the truth. Vanessa wiped her eyes. Okay. And you donate your next speaking fee to a financial literacy program for women entrepreneurs. Done. And you call mom and dad and tell them you lied at your promotion party. That your financially clueless sister actually understands business better than you do. She flinched but nodded. I'll call them today. I sat back down exhausted. Then I'll sign Marcus's restructuring agreement. The relief in the room was palpable. Marcus pulled up the new structure, walking through terms and distribution schedules. The other partners asked questions, took notes, slowly began to understand the strange reality that their managing partner's kid sister had been bankrolling their salaries for years. When the meeting finally ended 2 hours later, the partners filed out quietly, still processing. Vanessa remained seated, staring at the table. I'm sorry, she said finally. For everything. For treating you like you were less. For never asking about your life. For being so threatened by your success that I had to pretend it didn't exist. Why were you threatened? Because you're brilliant and kind and actually happy. I'm just brilliant. And I was terrified that if people noticed you, they'd realize I'm empty underneath all the achievements. I moved to the chair beside her. You're not empty, Vanessa. You're scared. There's a difference. I've been a terrible sister. Yes, you have. She laughed weakly. No argument? Would it help? Probably not. She looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. Is there any chance we can start over? Really start over as equals? That's what I've always wanted. I know. I'm just sorry it took blowing up my company to get here. We sat in silence for a moment. For what it's worth, Vanessa said, Anderson Consulting wouldn't exist without you. Not the money, though that was crucial. But the patience, the strategy, the way you structured the deal to give me full operational control while maintaining oversight. She shook her head. That's sophisticated investing. I should have known my sister was behind it. Why? Because it had grace. Something a cutthroat investor wouldn't have given me. She smiled sadly. Something that felt like family even when I didn't recognize it. My phone buzzed. Lauren, are you okay? I saw the partners meeting notification and Dad said something happened. I texted back, I'm fine. Call you tonight. Vanessa stood. I should prepare for tomorrow's meeting. Figure out how to admit to 140 people that I've been taking credit for someone else's contributions. Not someone else's. Your partners. There's a difference. She nodded slowly. Partner. Right. She held out her hand. Partners. I looked at her hand, then at her face. Vulnerable and honest in a